a throwback classic. It was their 22nd meeting, and I hope it goes on forever. But it was game, set, and match Murray. He defeats Wawrinka in some of the most closely contested three-set tennis I've ever seen. It was just such a treat to watch these two playing, and at such a level. Easily one of the best matches I've seen this year. It was highly entertaining and extremely competitive, but Murray just edged it, and I mean just edged it. So let's break down the reasons which took him to the victory. My name's Henry Tui. Welcome to Post-Match Breakdowns, and subscribe if you love tennis. Earlier today, I reached 100 subscribers, and then somebody unsubscribed. So I'm still not at triple digits, but I'm working really hard to get there, so subscribing would mean the world. But let's get into it, and start off with forehand depth. Sorry if you see my hand in the shot as well, because my mouse broke earlier. Anyway, forehand depth. Murray really struggled in early portions of this match to trade with depth on his forehand. Lots of his forehands were landing very short in the service box, and Stan, being such an aggressive player, got on the front foot and just doesn't let it up. That's the way he plays. Wawrinka takes the ball so early, takes time away from his opponents, and Murray gifting these short balls in the court forced Stan to step in and take more time away. So it's a bit of a vicious cycle for Murray. And it's a dangerous pattern of play that Taylor Fritz took full advantage of last week in Canada. He destroyed Murray 6-1, 6-3 because he just couldn't find a decent forehand to temper Fritz's weapons. And there was definitely a risk that this could happen in this match, again, with how good Stan's weapons are. But Murray adjusted in the first set and really accelerated through his forehand and found excellent depth in the end. And this mitigated some key patterns of play that Stan found early success with, and in particular, Stan's crosscourt backhand. So Stan found great efficiency in finding incredible angles off the court, backhand to backhand. The amount of topspin and angle that he managed to generate pushed Murray consistency well outside the tram lines. And Murray, if he got there at all, could only manage the slice, which Wawrinka either crushed with his forehand down the line or volleyed it to finish. But as I've just gone over, Stan was given these opportunities to dictate by short balls in the court. But as these dried up, so too did the opportunities to use this pattern of play. And it became more of a battle fought in neutral rallies, reliant on consistency rather than like a single shot or pattern of play. So the tactics within those rallies both had completely different game plans. Stan wanted to trade forehand to forehand because he'd dominate it, and Murray wanted to trade backhand to backhand because he would dominate it. And it became a question of who could implement their strategy more efficiently. And for the most part, it was dead even, especially in points behind their own serves. They were both serving so well and managed to stay on top of the rallies in their service games and play the style of play that they wanted to. Each service game was tight, however. By 6-6, Wawrinka hadn't faced a break point, surprisingly, and Murray had dug in and saved the 3 that he had faced. But the margins were exceptionally fine, and there's nowhere that margins are finer than in a tiebreak. So heading into the tiebreak, Stan's first double fault gifted Murray the mini break, and an unforced error and a superb extended rally later, and Murray raced to a 4-1 lead. Stan responded very well, however, and he won the next 2 service points emphatically to reach 4-3 and keep the pressure on Murray, keeping it close. But it didn't get to the Scot as he found a clutch ace and a gorgeous cross-court backhand to summon up 3 set points, and 1 was all he needed. Stan got trapped in the backhand-to-backhand exchange, exactly what Murray wanted, but he had such confidence as he redirected the perfect down-the-line backhand smack on the line, forcing an error from Wawrinka. Murray clinched that tiebreak 7-3 and the set 7-6. Now heading into the second set, there was actually instant danger for Wawrinka, Murray carrying his momentum into the second. He got into a love 30 hole, created some Murray brilliance, superb points which will definitely be on the highlight reel. But Murray still couldn't produce a break point. Stan fought back, winning 4 straight points, and Wawrinka was just so mentally strong in this match, finding some of his best tennis under pressure. In Wawrinka's next service game, Murray also knocked on the door, but still Stan remained steady. And momentum seemed to be fully pushing towards Murray's favour, because Wawrinka's biggest concern seemed to be health concerns. As they sat down at the 2-1 changeover, Wawrinka immediately requested the physio and was indicating to his left calf. This was a big concern for his fans and him completing the match as a whole. It It did seem it was more discomfort rather than full injury, as he still managed to hold on to his serve that game. But history would tell you that Stan has had very, very serious injuries in his career. 2 left knee surgeries and 2 left foot surgeries. So left leg anything is a massive worry for Stan, and makes sense he didn't hesitate at all to call the physio. And in the next game, his movement did seem as sharp, but I think that was more a mental consequence. He was concerned that it would hurt, and that was affecting his game. He didn't drive off it as well. But this seemed to improve as he got through that service game, and he didn't have any problems exploding up to the serve, and it didn't seem to be anything too major from Wawrinka, and it was soon back to business as usual. And the momentum seemed to swing back towards Wawrinka, as from 15-40 down, he conjured up a break point on Murray's serve, and exploded onto the return to force an error from Murray, and finally a break had been secured, the first one in the match, and Wawrinka had a chance to serve out the second set. But tennis is not a simple game, and just when you think you know what's what, it will surprise you. From not facing a single break point the entire match, Stan found his worst level and played the loosest game of the match. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 points, 4 unforced errors from Wawrinka, all forehand unforced errors. You'd think that Murray was a charity by how keen Stan was to donate his serve, and Murray had to do nothing to break Stan back. Wawrinka completely lost focus, and I think he was already thinking of the third set, thinking it was already over, that he was kind of invincible on his serve at that point. But though Murray had broken him back, he was not out of danger. He served to take the second set to a tiebreak at 5-6. And Murray generally in the second set really struggled to find his first serves, and it really, really abandoned him in this game. Wawrinka was striking his returns so well, and you just cannot give him that many looks at second serves, and that's precisely what Murray did. Murray did get a bit unlucky at 15-30. His string broke mid-point, but Stan did excellently with the break point that he found himself in. Murray hit a decent slice approach to Stan's backhand and rushed to the net, but Stan is so powerful that he hit a laser beam cross-court backhand, which Murray just couldn't make over the net, and he broke to take the second set 7-5. But in the third set, there were major injury woes for each player. Wawrinka broke at 0-1 because suddenly Murray couldn't move or serve. His level just out of nowhere dropped, and the reason was cramps. He could hardly move in that game, and was just absolutely furious with his physical state because the mind was willing, but the body was absolutely not, and he just didn't stand a chance that particular service game. But apparently he did have a chance, more than a chance, in Wawrinka's service game, because Murray played out of his mind at 2-love down. He hit 3 winners, and one of them was a stunning winner on a first serve. And I think his frustration, he just took it out in the best way possible by swinging so freely. And having broken Stan at that game, he actually had a chance to be treated by the trainer at 2-1. He was given electrolytes and a massage, and I think it was just a big opportunity for him to get a mental reset. And it definitely did him the world of good, because in the next game, he appeared to be playing at a similar level to the other sets. But only he knows how he's actually doing physically, because he can look good, but definitely not feel good. And at the 2-3 changeover, once again, he took his last opportunity with the trainer, because you can't take medical timeouts for cramps, which the commentators were saying. You only get 2 visits from the trainer, and they have to be at changeovers. But obviously, pain and discomfort is a big distraction, but it seemed that he was very clear, had very good clarity of thought in his new game plan, which was to shorten points wherever possible, net approaches, high aggression targets, and just generally playing front foot tennis, bringing his level to Stan's. Stan also needed the physio for his inner thigh in that 2-3 changeover. I know it's not overly surprising because they are aging athletes, but I've never seen the physio used so much. He definitely had his work cut out, patching both of them up as best he could. But as I said, Stan is 37 and Murray is 35, and all these niggles and issues will arise more and more as they keep playing, and keep playing they did. There was absolutely nothing separating either man, but sooner or later something had to give. And Murray played an incredibly clean game at 5-all, forcing errors off of Stan's racket, and with his best return of the match, hit a peach of a return on the baseline to seal the break. And now he was serving for the match in the third set. And I was going to go through it point by point, but screw that. My heart couldn't handle talking through it. Watching it was bad enough. So I'll just sum it up. He had 4 match points, and Stan could only save 3. A service winner, and it was game, it was set, and it was match. So overall, it was it was an unbelievable match, just vintage from both, and the level was absolutely supreme. There were so many momentum swings, such a roller coaster of a match, and it was incredible. I'm a die-hard Murray fan, and I think my heart stopped at least 300 times, if I'm being generous. And he now faces Cam Norrie in the second round, and hopefully he should recover before he plays him in 2 days' time. But now on to Stan. Stan hasn't actually got a hard court win since the 2021 Australian Open, but I think it's only a matter of time. With the level that Stan was playing at today, he will get there. He just needs to keep on trying. And his aggression and game style was just a treat on the eyes, and his competitiveness is second to none. He has not lost that through all his injuries. But that wraps up my analysis of the match. A lot of work goes into these videos, so subscribing would mean the world. And thanks for watching, and have a great one, guys. Forcing plenty of rackets off. And he played an incredibly clean game at oh my god. Come on. And he played an incredibly clean game. Oh, game. Right. And he played an incredibly clean game at 5-all, forcing error of